Peace to, the Quran followers alone, and this is to address a certain guy by the name of Sam Gerrans that, I don't know, seems to think his toilet don't stink. I've messaged him a number of times to mention certain stuff to him. He hasn't replied, and then he decides to block me so no one can see my comments, and he doesn't reply to the comments. So now I've been forced to make a video, and hopefully you will see this. And when you do see this, yes, on the day of judgment, we will see who gets the rewards on that day. I want an explanation of why you haven't responded in regards to the questions that I raised, and I also want, I've asked if you could support the channel, come over, do some live streams. You ain't done it, maybe because you think I've only got 100, 120, 50 on another channel, that I'm nothing special, yeah, and I'm not a part of your gang. You call yourself Quranite. You have a Quranite forum for other Quranites to meet each other, which you charge for. You also charge for your Quran on the paperback. Yes, you have it for free on the internet, but you should have just kept it for free on the internet. You also ask for donations in order to keep your stream going, or if you want to see more videos, etc. Now I have a big issue with it, because you think you're high and mighty and you're running some kind of cult, because that's what it is, right? I'm going to address this issue. In the Quran it states, do not follow those who ask for money in order to bring you the truth. Your Lord and Creator is saying to you in chapter 36 verse 21, rather follow those who do not ask of you any, I repeat, any payment, and they are rightly guided. In chapter 26 verse 162 to 164, like Lut, who said, indeed I am to you a trustworthy messenger, so fear God and obey me, and I do not ask you for it any payment. My payment is only from the Lord of the worlds. Chapter 11 verse 51, and Hud, who said, O my people, I do not ask you for it any reward. My reward is only from the one who created me. Then will you not reason? In chapter 26 verse 145, and Salih, who said, and I do not ask you for it any payment. My payment is only from the Lord of the worlds. In chapter 11 verse 29, and Noah, who said, O my people, I ask not of you for it any wealth. My reward is not but from God. Chapter 26 verse 180, and Shuaib, who said, and I do not ask you for it any payment. My payment is only from the Lord of the worlds. In chapter 6 verse 84 to 90, those are the ones whom God has guided, as well as Abraham, Isaac and Jacob and David and Solomon and Job and Joseph and Moses and Aaron and Zechariah and John and Jesus and Elijah and Ishmael and Elisha and Jonah. So from their guidance take an example. Say, I ask of you for this message no payment. It is not but a reminder for the worlds. In chapter 23 verse 72 to 74, or do you ask them for payment? But the reward of your Lord is best, and he is the best of providers, and indeed you invite them to a straight path. Indeed those who do not believe in the hereafter are deviating from the path. So the examples are, buy books here, help me keep doing this, donate, become a patron, GoFundMe, super chats, donate with you caring, donate with PayPal, bank information, etc. Chapter 34 verse 47, so say instead, whatever payment I might have asked of you, it is yours, my payment only from God, and he is over all things witness. Chapter 3 verse 77, the ones who purchase with the pledge of God and their oaths a cheap price, those will have no portion in the hereafter, and God will not speak to them, nor will he look at them. on the day of resurrection, nor will he purify them, and they will have a painful retribution. So do you make a living out of delivering the message of God? If you make any, I repeat any, wealth of the deen, you will be put to the fire, and he will not talk to you or look at you that day, because apparently God is not powerful enough to sustain them. An honest day's work. As Islam lays great stress on a life of strife and struggle, it is apparent that to live on other people's earnings is considered to be bad. Those who live on other people's earnings are called mutrafin, the parasites, as pointed out in so many verses of the Quran. Mutrafin are the enemies of God's messengers and of the proper way of the life deen brought about by them. These are idle, lazy people who avoid work and earning for themselves. They would like that other people earn for them, and they themselves scrounge or beg on other people's livelihoods. The Quran is greatly against such people and instructs the believers to seek your sustenance according to the way prescribed by Allah in chapter 29 verse 17. What is meant by the way prescribed by God? It means the ways of earning that are lawful according to the Quran. On the other hand, unlawful means are strictly prohibited. And do not use up each other's property by unlawful means, chapter 2 verse 188. What are these unlawful means? It means to get other people's wealth by fraud, by stealing, or by taking advantage or deception by somebody's weakness, or by usurping somebody's earnings, or by giving less than what is due to another person. You have to remember, Sam, if you do work and you earn your money, then you're just a robber, a daylight robber. If you're earning and you don't work and you're profiting from this also applies to you in both cases. In chapter 5 verse 44, listen to this carefully, Sam. We sent down the Torah, wherein is guidance and light, the prophets who submitted them thereby, those who hold to Judaism, as did the men of God and the religious scholars, with what they were given charge of from the law of God. And were there two witnesses, then fear not mankind, but fear me, and sell not my proofs for a cheap price. And whosoever judges not by what God has sent down, but those they are the rejectors, while claiming virtue. You notice there it says cheap price. It means any price. There's no price on the proof of Allah, on the message of Allah. So the Quran is not asking you to give your money to God. God is telling you all to spend your money in His path of God. He's not telling you to spend it all and sit on the side with nothing. In chapter 2 verse 272, not upon you is responsibility for their guidance, but Allah guides whom He wills, and whatever good you believers spend is for yourselves, and you do not spend except seeking the countenance of Allah, and whatever you spend of good, it will be fully repaid to you, and you will not be wronged. The context of this ayah are the believers specifically on the topic of spending in the way of Allah. Like these Christians may tell you, you know, the clergy has to declare a vow of poverty, and then they live in mansions all over the earth and take your money, but they have declared poverty. And this goes on with the so-called Muslims and Imams and the so-called Jews. These are all milking you, and the same with people that claim they are Muslims or they claim to be on your side. I would never ever ask any of you for any wealth. If I did that, I would go to hell. The book tells me that. If I ask for a reward for bringing you this message, in whatever shape, form, I will go to hell. So you see all these morons running around like junkies trying to earn a buck off this religion. No messenger has ever come and told you, give me your money, because I'm bringing you the message of God. You know, I teach you the message of God, so you should give me money for it. That is an absolute gateway to hell. And he will be telling you lies because he has to get your money from you. He will be teaching you all things you want to hear. So you keep coming to him for learned wisdom that you might acquire from this person or persons. Then someone like me comes and says, I don't want any of your money. Then you think he doesn't want any of my money. Well, there must be something wrong with him. And the one asking for money, he's okay. What's wrong with you people? Wake up. You're being robbed through deception in a very subtle way. How can you not see through this facade? You know, everyone wants to live forever, yes, but it's not here, it's in the hereafter. Now that can be in pain or in bliss, it's your choice. What one do you want? It's not my choice, I can't make you choose. Just because you say with your mouth does not make you pious and make you a Christian or Muslim, etc. And just because you say what a Muslim is does not make that a Muslim. You so-called Muslims are no way in shape or form Muslims by the Quran and its definitions. Either I'm lying or you're lying, or we are both lying, but we both can't be telling the truth. Stop blind following, do your own research. You will be questioned in the hereafter for your laziness. Remember, you are going into your grave by yourself, and you will be questioned on the day of resurrection by yourself. You are only responsible for your own actions. The Quran came down for every individual to follow, not for someone to dictate what is said from his own desires and whims, and from made up stories from outside the Quran. The Prophet will complain on the Day of Judgment that the Muslims have deserted the Quran in chapter 25 verse 30. Understand this concept, or I agree to disagree. This is great, but that's all you do. You never agree to agree. This is difficult because man is a disputer. He disputes everything under the sun. What is good and what is evil, you have to figure that out for yourself. And what you think is evil may be good, and what you think is good may be evil. But in the meantime, ask God to protect you. As I said, I'm only bringing you this message. Deserting the Quran, could mean many things. Many things. And another thing I wanted to address. In your book, it says Rabbil Alameen. You have translated it as Lord of Mankind. I've checked quite a lot of translations, and they say it's Lord of the Worlds or Lord of the Universe, which makes sense because he's not just the Lord of mankind. He is the Lord of everything. So that's something else that you may have to look at and change. Now we get to another subject. The next subject is breaking up into sects. Now, as I said to you previously, you call yourself a Quranite. No other prophet messenger called themselves that. You're making a sect. You're becoming a cult. Now, breaking up into sects, Allah says, as for those who divide their religion and break up into sects, thou hast no part in them in the least. Their affair is with Allah. He will in the end tell them the truth of all that they did. In chapter 6 verse 159. Allah is telling you, your religion is submission to Allah alone. You people have left the path of Allah, i.e. the Quran alone, and followed others other than just Allah, which is Quran alone. We ask ourselves, did the Prophet and the companions follow anyone else other than the Quran alone? You created your sect just by setting up partners with the Book of Allah, i.e. man-made hadiths. This is the start of the sect. You're breaking away from the book. Then you have all the other sects of this break. Now you might say, brother, you mentioned hadith. I only follow Quran alone, and I understand. But you are calling yourself Quranites. There is no such thing as Quranites. You are a Muslim. We follow the Quran, and that is it. Bottom line. Allah says, and hold fast all together. How do we do this? The Quran alone, that's it. By the rope of which Allah stretches out for you, the Quran alone. And be not divided among yourselves, breaking away from the Quran alone. And remember with gratitude Allah's favour on you, for ye were enemies. Why was we enemies? Because of belief and no belief. Shuk or Allah. And He joined your hearts in love. How did this happen? The Quran alone. So that by His grace ye became brethren, and ye were on the brink of the pit of fire, and He saved you from it. Thus doth Allah make His signs clear to you, that ye may be guided. How will we be guided? The Quran alone, chapter 3 verse 103. Those who split up their religion and become mere sects. How did the religion split? By abandoning the Quran alone. Each party rejoicing in that which is with itself, chapter 30 verse 32. All sects are haram. If you identify yourself as a Sunni, Shia, Wahhabi, Quranite, Hanafi, Maliki, or any other sect, does not matter how big or small the sect, you have left the fold of Islam. Call yourself a Muslim and follow the Quran alone. If you call yourself Sunni, Shia, Wahhabi, Al-Hadith, or Sunnah wa Jama'ah, Hanafi, Maliki, Hanbali, or any other group, it's wrong. You need to wake up. We are Muslims. We're in submission to the Creator, and we follow the Quran alone. That's it. Not Quranite, not Quranist, not Quraniyun, or whatever they say. Yeah, Hadith rejectors, etc., etc. You've put yourself in your own little sect. Quranite, Quranite.com. Was Muhammad a Quranite? Fair enough. You might say there's Jews out there that call themselves something "ite," but that's not what God said. God said we're Muslims and we follow the Quran alone. Finished. Finished. So all I'm saying is, I don't know what your issue is. I don't know what your issue is. But I think you need to lose this way that you've adopted. Yeah. You've got some good work. I agree. And everyone's not perfect. Yeah, I have my problems and I have my faults, but I definitely will not under any circumstance do anything in regards to setting up partners or doing something in regards to causing wider problems. We know Allah will forgive minor and major sins by His mercy, but when it comes to splitting into sects and taking money for the message, and the Prophet's never done that, that is wrong. By the translation of Lord of Mankind, then you're leading people to believe, who get your book, buy your book, that He's only the Lord of Mankind and that there must be a Lord on top of Him. So all I'm saying is you need to check that out. Feel free to do a response. As I said, I'm not attacking. Yeah, I'm pissed off, and I'll say it how it is. Yeah, I'm a realist. I've asked you to come over, yeah, because I'm trying to unite the Quran alone Muslims. My channel is for everybody, every Quran alone person, leaving our differences at the door and getting on with the job that we're put here for. But yet again, there's issues in the Quran alone. Some Quran alone are still praying the traditionalist way. They're still facing their idols. But I still find these little tiny bits in the Quran alone community that's, to be honest with you, is getting on my nerves. Yes, I used to be a Sunni, if you call it that. 18 years I went into the fold of Islam that direction. Didn't know there was such thing as Quran alone. I didn't read anything in order to make me become Quran alone. It was gut feeling. So it was guidance from God. That's all I take it was. Now I don't want to go into my background because this is not what this video is for. But I expect you're going to be a man and either make some changes. If I see that the changes have been made, I will take the video down. If the changes ain't been made, I will make another one, and another one, and another one, and another one, and another one. Because I won't have it. When people claim they're Quran alone, and I know the beauty of being Quran alone, there's beauty in it. Wallahi, there's beauty in it. And then I see people either earning off it or doing this or doing that under the disguise of Quran alone. It ain't happening on my watch. You don't need funding. All you need is internet and a computer or a phone or a tablet. That's all you need. I'm doing it all from my channel, yeah? Exactly that way, and I don't ask for a penny. And I'm finding it hard to get people to come over to me. So all I'm saying, we're meant to be there to support each other. And don't knock me. I quoted you the verses from the Quran, and I just want to unite everyone. And as I said, you love for your brother what you love for yourself, and that's all my intention is. So on that note, peace be with you.